CVA's AccuraSeries, Bagara barrels for guaranteed accuracy, nitride for guaranteed rust proofing, and a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
This segment's being sponsored by JLB Sportsman, custom woodworking and laser engraving. Located right here in Leoma, Tennessee, give owner Jim Brewer a call at 931-213-1455. All right, everybody, this next segment's being sponsored by our friends over at Courtney's Restaurant and Catering. You guys can find them at 4066B North Mount Juliet Road right there in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, or you can give Tom and the gang a call for all of your catering and carry out and delivery needs now at 615-754-7548. All right, guys, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead, since we're not running recipe tonight, we're going to open up our phone lines for you again. We're at 615-737-7767. If anyone else wants to call in, go ahead and give us a call, and we'll be glad to cover your question or your comment. In the meantime, Anthony, it seems like every time we get going, you know, is it going to, but so the birds aren't really gobbling that much. You've used just a little bit of clucking and stuff like that a lot. Yes. It kind of brings them around even if you're not hearing them. Now, I didn't mention too much before we ran Randall's segment there. I have called the last two birds I've called in with that bag. That don't mean, you know, this call might work today, that call might tomorrow, but it just seems like when you get them within ear range of that bag, it's one of those vocalizations like we mentioned earlier, that those turkeys hear, as Randall puts it, from the time they're in an egg. Yes. They hear that mama hen walking around that egg scratching in the leaves when they're in the egg. Yeah. And then they hear that little put and that little purr. And if we were just, you know, on the other side of the studio over here, we wouldn't hear it. And that old gobbler, he hears it. You know, those turkeys are a very, very vocal. For a wild animal, they're very, very vocal. Yeah. We just think that it's a hen sitting up on the top of the tree screaming her lungs out like we hear at the turkey shows and everything all the time. And they'll do that at times, but usually it's just a very quiet put, a purr, a scratch, but they know where each other are all day. They you know, that's why in the fall a lot of times you can do what they call, you know, bust them up. Yeah. You can bust that group of turkeys up, and if you'll set back right where you busted them a kiki or something, you'll call those birds right back to you, because that's that boss hen saying, come back. And I've killed a bunch in the fall and they'll come back together. So.
I've even killed some in spring doing that kiki. I have. A lot of people. I mean, it's really a year-round call, but most people don't do it.
Right. It's mostly considered a fall.
That's
call.
Right.
Who do we have on one? Darnell, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Hello? Yeah, we appreciate you calling. How can we help you tonight?
I just want to call in and tell you guys, I'm just an old woman, 75 years old. I live up here on Center Hill Lake in DeKalb County.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't get out on water. When you get old, like that old, you got to be careful about fishing and stuff. But the water's really high up here right now.
It is. It has been high everywhere, and Center Hill is no different. Earlier you may have saw the picture we had of Chris Snow up, and they were saying that it's his home lake, and the water is just this year. Of course, they've got it at what they're going to consider the new, the new pool now. So Center Hill is up higher right now than most folks have seen it a long time, because they've been working on the dam for so long. So you couple the fact that they've raised the water back with all this rain, and it is a different lake right now. For those that have fished it the last couple of years, it is a different body of water than it's been the last couple of years.
Well, I've been living here moved here about 23 years ago, and that really, it's the highest I've ever seen it. Yeah. And I went down, me and my little dog went down and fished a little bit today, but the water's so high, I couldn't get it out far enough to get any fish.
Right. Yeah.
But I just enjoy watching you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Job.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
We appreciate that very much. Have a great night.
You know, Brandon, talking about that lake coming up like that, you know, if it hadn't been that way in a long time, it's almost just like a brand new lake.
It just about is right
because
now.
It's so many new fishable areas with new food sources that had never been there.
Because they have had that lake pulled back for years now working on the dam, and the folks that do a lot of fishing on the Caney Fork like I do, they're happy too, because now we won't have the generators running 24 hours a day, you know, like they were for so long. It was hard to catch the generators off long enough to get down there and do a little floating trip or something. I love to fish the Caney Fork, and still do it quite a bit, but you just, for the last few years, you have not been able to do it as readily as normal. So everything's kind of getting back to the normal in Center Hill. But again, if you've been fishing there the last 2 or 3 years, you're going to be in for a new lake when you go out there this year, because that water is back up. They're making adjustments to the boat ramps and things as they can, and getting them adjusted to the new water levels. Some of your boat docks are still, you know, you got to swim to get to them, you know, put it that way. So they're making adjustments and getting all that taken care of. I think in the long run, everybody's going to be really happy. It's finally back up where it needs to be, and the dam's not going to be running all the time. So I think it's going to be coming around. And evidently, Chris showed us earlier, they are catching some slammers on Center Hill right now.
Looked like
it. Even though the water's up there, those fish are in there, and they're eating. So I'm looking forward to getting up there myself as soon as I can. So hadn't been able to make it to Center Hill yet this year. Guys, I tell you what, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll have this week's calendar of events and some more Southern Woods and Waters.